Hello. The most important part about being or learning about sovereignty is to learn from the beginning. And we've gone so far into trying to be sovereign. I can tell you this once and for all, that a lot of times we lose our place when we're talking about sovereignty. We forget. So now I want to go back to the beginning and talk about the overthrow, 1893, when it first happened. So every month, as of today, I will have a meeting place at Kapal Library where I'm going to be teaching about the overthrow and speaking also about the overthrow and sharing just informational things about the overthrow. So we're going to start from the beginning. So I'm going to read you on 22 pages from this book about the overthrow. And it started with, this manifesto and expose is written in a direct attention to a great deception committed by the United States government, acting without honor or integrity in sustaining an abusive relationship with the inhabitants of the foreign nation, the Hawaiian Islands, properly titled Ko Hawaii Pai'aina, whose national government is known and commonly addressed as the Hawaiian Kingdom, Ke Puni o Hawaiine. Foreign nations, specifically those with the still existing, valid, non-abrogated international treaties with the Hawaiian nationals, the Hawaiian Kingdom, see Exhibit A, as well as the United States, noticed under a separate cover, have been made aware of the false and misleading posture of the judicial claims by the United States government in the sovereign nation of the Hawaiian Islands, which geographically includes the entire Hawaiian archipelago. The United States government, however, in order to keep control over the Hawaiian people and to control the islands of the Hawaiian archipelago, and to justify the United States' unlawful and presence in the foreign national soils of the Hawaiian Kingdom, has deliberately dispersed disinformation through the falsification of records and documents, manipulations of mass media and educational system, extortion of abusive police power, and economic policies. This was done falsely claimed that the Hawaiian people accused to the present so-called statehood status, which they have not. The nations have treaties with the Hawaiian Kingdom, were aware at the time of the overthrow, January 17, 1893, the United States exercised gunboat diplomacy in violation of international treaties and international law, and was a conspiratorial participant in the violations of the sovereignty of the Hawaiian Kingdom and internationally declared neutral foreign nation. On that date, the United States military activated by the U.S. Minister John L. Stevens, unauthorized orders, directly support the treason and the insurrection on the Hawaiian national soil with the military troops and weapons brought ashore from the U.S. warship in Honolulu Harbor. The United States participated as an invasive force in the foreign soil in support of acts of treason by armed, racially white insurrectionists violating their sworn oath to uphold the Hawaiian laws, and who were not, as they falsely claim, under the threat of duress from the Hawaiian Kingdom or its people. At the time, only about 3,000 Americans, civilians, lived unthreatened in all of the Hawaiian Islands. Under protest and to avoid needlessly bloodshed, Queen Liliuokalani yielded her authority to the President of the United States at that time, Benjamin Harrison, until the facts of the illegal insurrection could be determined and the kingdom government properly restored. Meanwhile, the insurrectionists installed an illegal provisional government to conduct the affairs of the Hawaiian Kingdom and to consolidate their control. The U.S. President Harrison, in disregard for truth and righteousness, has presided over the deliberately unsupportable hostile action against a friendly, neutral nation, the Hawaiian Kingdom. President Grover Cleveland succeeded Harrison just after the U.S. illegal action against Hawaii followed a formal protest by Queen Liliuokalani. The newly installed President Cleveland suspended deliberations in the U.S. Senate for the Treaty of Annexation of Hawaii and sent former U.S. James H. Blunt as a special commissioner to investigate the situation. Months later, in his 1,397-page Blunt report, he concluded the United States military, Navy, and Marines' actions on foreign Hawaiian Kingdom national soil was patently unlawful. Based upon Blunt's letter, Cleveland withdrew the Treaty of Annexation, stating to his message to the U.S. Congress on December 18, 1894, I quote, in part, President Cleveland, "The military demonstrated upon the soils of Honolulu participation in the overthrow of January 16 and 17, 1893 was of itself an act of war against a friendly and neutral treaty nation, unless made either with the consent of the government of Hawaii or for the bona fide purpose for protection the imperiled lives and property of citizens of the United States." Full text. Due to the extensive of the report can be read online computer. Because the U.S. had committed an unlawful military intervention to assist in a coup against the lawful government of a sovereign nation, the Hawaiian Islands, the U.S. have no lawful basis to annex the nation. Therefore, in order to make it look like an annexation, the U.S. arrogantly ignore numerous U.S., Hawaiian Kingdom, and international laws, and unscrutinized and illegally took the stole Hawaii. As a result, to this day, the U.S. claim Hawaiian Islands is not only defective, but it is outright fraudulent. The United States Congress affirmed no lawful land claims to the Hawaiian archipelago and its islands. The present United States Congressional and Judicial Statements in Title 28, the USC, Section 91, defining the lawful authority of the District Courts of Hawaii, reflects the United States congressional limitations upon the courts. It is the only jurisdictional district of all the United States district courts where the area of jurisdiction is described as being outside of and away from the location of its courts. More specifically, each of the United States courts' jurisdiction reflects names of cities, counties, etc. within its boundaries of authority and jurisdiction. Yet, the Hawaii court does not. I quote 28 U.S.C. Section 91 titles 28 U.S.C. Section 91 Hawaii constitutes one jurisdictional district, which includes the Midway Islands, Wake Islands, Johnson Islands, Sand Island, Kingsman's Reef, Palmyra Island, Baker's Island, Howland Island, Jarvis Island, Canton Island, Enderbury Island, provided that the inclusion of the Canton and Enderbury Island in such judicial district shall in no way be construed to be prejudicial to the claims of the United Kingdom, prejudicial to the claims of the United Kingdom to the said islands in accordance with the agreement of April 6, 1939 between the governments of the United States and of the United Kingdom to set up a regime for each use in common courts shall be held at Honolulu. The key word underlining by the author, which is at Honolulu. Notice that the list of islands in this judicial district does not include the main islands of the Hawaiian archipelago: Hawaii, Maui, Oahu, Kauai, Molokai, Lanai, Niihau, and Ko'olave. Then what or which Hawaii is the U.S. congressional law alluding to? Is it 1. Hawaii, the largest island in the southern part of the Hawaiian archipelago? 2. Hawaii, the Kopai'aina, or the Hawaiian Islands, that the lawful independent sovereign nation and the de jure nation amongst nations, under suppression by the colonial and military powers of the United States federal government. 3. Hawaii, the illegal state of Hawaii, corporation, puppet government. The state of Hawaii is a corporation created in 1959 by the Executive Order Proclamation number 3309, August 21st, 1959, 25 FR 6868 73 stat C 74, or is it? And it goes, Hawaii used just a word without its substance being defined or described. The name includes and inclusions, minor islands, reefs, and the Pacific. Please note that it specifically omits the main islands of the Hawaiian archipelago, but specifically includes, that word is really hard, specifically includes the Midway Islands, Wake Islands, Johnson Island, Sand Island, Kingsman's Reef, Palmyra Island, Baker Island, Howland Island, Jarvis Island, Canton Island, and Enderbury Island. It appears that the letter application 4 is appropriate and intentional, there being no other consideration possible without clarifying the definition provided for the word Hawaii. The term Hawaii thus used is ambiguous. Because of its ambiguity, it is not to be considered a legal term, as it has not been defined or clarified within the code sections of law. This appears to be the United States description for their imaginary Hawaiian jurisdictional district that does not lawfully exist. Again, notice the main islands of the Hawaiian archipelago are not specified anywhere in the text of this abelian law. Abelian laws, yeah. Was this just a clerical error in drafting the Statehood Act? This is highly unlikely. But even if it was an error, it would mean that the Hawaiian Islands are not part of the Hawaii Judicial District. The only possible explanation for this irregularity is the main Hawaiian Islands were specifically and deliberately, but very deviously omitted from being designated as being under the United States jurisdiction. Furthermore, the above law, Title 28, USC, Section 91, states that the U.S. courts of the Hawaii District is to be held at Honolulu instead of in Honolulu. The participle at indicates a point or place, but can mean in, about, or near. If the Hawaiian archipelago were the lawful possession of the United States, they would have used a possessive N, I-N. Also, a participle, but one of the indicated inclusion within a space or a boundary, etc., possession, as it does for Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., or other acceptable locations. In other words, of importance and their meaning. Constitute, not in the Black Law Dictionary, the 6th edition, in Merriam-Webster Collegate Dictionary, the 10th edition, constitute is defined as follows. Constitute, to appoint to an office, functioning, or dignity, to set up, establish, or as an enact, be, found, C1, to give due or lawful form to. 2, to legally process. 3, to make up, form, or compose. Includes the source of Black Law Dictionary, the 6th edition, Latin. Includer, to shut in, to keep within. To confirm within, whole as in the enclosure, take in, attain, shut up, contain, enclose, comprise, comprehend, embrace, involve. Term may, accordingly to context, express an enlargement and to have the meaning of and or in addition to, or mainly specify a particular thing already included within a general words therefore use, including within a statute that is interpreted as a word of enlargement or illustrative application, as well as a word of limitation. The Primer Products Company versus Cameron 240 OR 123 400 P 2D. Therefore, the titles 28 USC Section 91 define the United States Courts of the Hawaii District is obviously and clearly an example of admission of or by omission. Revealing that the United States District Courts of the Hawaiian possess no lawful authority over the Hawaiian archipelago, etc., the Hawaiian Kingdom. Therefore, it follows that the United States does not possess a lawful jurisdiction over the Hawaiian Islands or Hawaiian nationals. Okay. What the United States federal government did and has done through deception under the color of law in open violations of their own United States laws and the United States Constitution was to create a colonial de facto state with a foreign puppet government using 3 distinct phases of deception and suppression. This was accomplished with the complexity often ignorant from the government leaders, the legal professions, business, and economic leaders, educational system, the average U.S. taxpayer, the major news, media, and all, etc. of the American colonized Hawaiian society. The first phase starts with the original treasonous, some being trusted government official holders under the oath, calling themselves the Committee of Safety. The primary motivation was to solidify and increase their financial interest in the Hawaii through highly favorable business and trade policies. The Committee of Safety, in plotting and participating in the overthrow of the lawful Hawaiian Kingdom national government, were afraid of their lives because their coup should fail, and penalty for the act of treason would be death. They were only able to go through their plans because of the U.S. Foreign Minister John L. Stevens unlawfully, without the U.S. government authority, ordered the landing of a full armed attachments of the U.S. Marines, Navy personnel to back the unlawful takeover. Without this military intervention, the coup would have failed. In the second phase, the rebels formed a provisional government that took over control of the Hawaii and immediately looked for annexation to the United States. The desire of these conspirators and traitors was from the United States to reward and protect them by making Hawaii, at the very least, a protectorate of the territory of the United States military control. That's why when they took down the Hawaiian flag, they raised the American flags to be that Hawaii is under the protectorate of the United States of America, which clearly shows us that this is occupation. And then this was sought in the order that these wealthy merchants turned traders could retain their assets, their power, and their lives. But at the end of 1893, when the facts of the unlawful military interventions were exposed, President Grover Cleveland caused the Treaty of Annexation to be withdrawn from the United States Congress. This triggered Phase 3, whereby the treasonous had to do something to save themselves. Hurriedly, in 1894, the traders declared Hawaii to be a newly country with a new de facto government called the Republic of Hawaii. This self-proclaimed magnification of this government had no support and virtually no approval from the general populace of the Hawaiian Islands. In an ironic and amazing display of audacity, the Republic of Hawaii warned the United States. Check this out. The Republic of Hawaii warned the United States not to attempt to restore the monarch or the government of the Hawaiian Kingdom, for to do so would amount to interference in the internal affairs of this foreign nation. What hypocrites these people are. The Hawaiian national citizens, a vast majority of the population during this time, had placed their trust in the beloved monarch Queen Liliuokalani and the ruler of law, both domestic and international, in order to avert bloodshed and expecting a swift diplomatic resolution. The Queen ordered her small, inadequate military force and the people to not take up arms to resolve the stealing of the kingdom. Instead, she temporarily yielded her authority to the President of the United States, trusting in the goodwill and character of the President as an emissary of righteousness and the head of supposedly godly nation, to honorably rectify the breach. The Queen conditional yield to the President of the United States. In his hands, the right the duty, and the opportunity, and the moral authority to restore to power the Hawaiian national proper and lawful government. And it says here, unfortunately, the Queen and the Hawaiian people trust was in vain. A significant fact is that a small band of conspirators were of Caucasian descent. There was not one citizen of Hawaiian blood that participated in the removal of the Queen and the takeover of the Hawaiian kingdom. In fact, many of the Hawaiian citizens of Caucasian descent and virtually all of those Asian descent remained loyal to the Queen and their country and Hawaii. In outgoing lame duck U.S. President Benjamin Harrison was receptive to annexation Hawaii and supported the annexation treaty hastily. So, proposed by the treasonous individuals who had stolen the Hawaiian kingdom, the treaty was submitted to the United States Senate for acceptance. In the meantime, the President Harris rejected correspondence with proper petitions, appealed, and personal embassies of Queen Liliuokalani to the United States by inaction, delayed, and other political machination. President Harrison provided protection in the time of the conspirators consisting of the United States citizens and several European foreigners. To consolidate with the U.S., provided arms and their treasonous action. This is affirmed by many historical documents, including the U.S. State Department publication titled Foreign Relations of the United States Affairs in Hawaii, 1859. And despite the efforts of the conspiracy, the formal protest filed by the Queen, footnote 10 of this chapter, the lawful Hawaiian Kingdom government, the Hawaiian people, strong objections raised by a certain U.S. senator of integrity and conscience helped to stall the immediately passage of the treaty. By submitting the Treaty of Annexation to Congress, President Harris and the members of his administration, lacking any integrity and had deliberately ignored the existing treaties, the overly illegal and absurd actions of the various conspirators, the treasonous Committee of Safety in the overthrowing the Hawaiian Kingdom, the U.S. Foreign Minister in providing unlawful recognition to the illegal provisional government for the Hawaiian Kingdom, and the hostile maneuvers by the U.S. Marines and the Navy personnel on the sovereign Hawaiian national soil, the incoming President Grover Cleveland ordered an investigation. The result in the Blunt Report found the actions of the parties of the Committee of Safety as unlawful and treasonous, and the unauthorized participation by the U.S. Minister Stevens and the unauthorized invasion by the U.S. military, Navy, and Marines on a sovereign Hawaiian national soil as unlawful under international law and contrary to the United States Constitution and foreign policies. President Grover Cleveland offered a treaty of annexation to be withdrawn from the Congress and the rightful Hawaiian government restored. But for various unexplained reasons, the President of the United States failed to take affirmative action to restore to the Hawaiian Kingdom the lawful authority that had been temporarily yielded solely to the United States President in 1893. The U.S. military had their own agenda, while the U.S. government was directly supporting the treason on foreign soil and neglecting to restore the proper and lawful Hawaiian national government. The U.S. military was implementing its own designs to establish the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor. All that was needed was a possible justification. In 1897, another attempt was made to pass a treaty to annex Hawaii to the United States. A tremendous lobbying efforts by Queen Liliuokalani, numerous of Hawaiian patriots and patriotic organizations, and a huge public groundswell in Hawaii caused the treaty to be defeated again in the U.S. Congress. Despite this failure, a military need, a possible justification immediately presented itself with the outbreak of the Spanish-American War. Suddenly, Pearl Harbor became a critical military coaling station, and the islands and outposts to support American expansion to the territories sought from Spain in the Western Pacific, the Philippines, Guam, and the Caroline Islands. In 1898, the United States government, using a blatant deception via public disinformation, passed to the Congress the New Lands Resolution. It says, as a supposedly treaty of annexation to create and form a foreign United States puppet government by endorsing and negotiations with the de facto treasonous Republic of Hawaii. A U.S. resolution is a congressional suggestion for international domestic application. It was only a formal statement or expression of a preferred or recommended policy. A resolution is not a law on the U.S. in the United States, much less on foreign soil. It has no force of law. The U.S. government then utilized this internal document, the joint resolution, to provide annexing the Hawaiian Islands to the United States as the basis for a supposed treaty of annexation. The New Land Resolution SOPRA to create the de facto territory of Hawaii. This, in its first paragraph, stipulates that the U.S. government have already recognized as a de facto the Republic of Hawaii, now supposedly except from it as ceded sovereignty of whatsoever kind, etc. The stolen possession of another. In truth, the Republic of Hawaii possessed nothing that could lawfully be ceded to anyone. The jurisdictionally speaking, to the United States recognized the de facto Republic of Hawaii possessed no sovereignty, and hence the usage of this ambiguous phrase of whatsoever kind. The treasonous most definitely did not possess exclusive jurisdiction over the land and the Hawaiian people. The treasonous people only had stolen the rights. To this very day, these stolen rights are enforced through the abuse of police powers with full United States complicity and military support. Section 1 of the Newlands Resolution provided for the United States to financially bail out the in-debt de facto Republic of Hawaii by assuming its public debt to turn of $4 million. The United States did not pay off the debt, but only loaned the de facto entity money. The Newland Resolutions 1, paragraph 7, which affirms that fact, stated, the public debt of the Republic of Hawaii lawfully exists at the date of passage of this joint resolution, including the amount due to the depositors in the Hawaiian Postal Saving Bank, is hereby assumed by the government of the United States. But the liability of the United States is, or in this regard, shall in no case exceed $4 million. So long, however, as the existing government, which is the Republic of Hawaii, and the present commercial relations of the Hawaiian Islands are continued as herein before, provided said government, the Republic of Hawaii, shall continue to pay the interest on said debt. Okay? So with that, this does not constitute, nor does it substitute for an accusation. There was no purchase here. Accusation. There was no purchase here. It was a loan, assumption of a debt. Misrepresented to be paid for the acquisition in order to create the basis for the upcoming Organic Act, which was then deviously and fraudulent misrepresented the U.S. or to the U.S. America and the Hawaiian people, which is the Americans. Meanwhile, in Hawaii, the de facto Republic of Hawaii, the people were being misled and told publicly to have been told publicly to the following. Through the de facto legislative body and the media, I quote Section 2 of the Organic Act, that the islands acquired by the United States of America under the Act of Congress entitled Joint Resolution to provide an annexation the Hawaiian Islands to the United States, approved July 7, 1898, shall be known as the territory of Hawaii. Organic Act, Session Laws of the Republic of Hawaii, underlined, emphasized by the author. Contrary to the claims of the above experts, the Hawaiian Islands were never acquired. Such crude deception and misrepresentation is utilized to bolster the false official U.S. government position. The de facto courts in Hawaii, with the judges appointed from within a de facto entity as prescribed in the Organic Act, continue to support the U.S. fraudulent position. The defective Newland Resolution 1898 was the foundational basis for the creation of the Organic Act, April 30th, 1900, C 33931, Stat 14. The Organic Act contains deliberate misrepresentation to sway, obscure, and otherwise cause a grand deception to con the general American public and private sectors to demean and subjugate and suppress the Hawaiian nationals, to establish future U.S. military control over the Hawaiian Islands. A critique of the Organic Act in Act to provide a government for the territory of Hawaii. Act of April 30th, 1900, C 33931, Stat 141. The third phase of the chain of de facto government was called the Territory of Hawaii, fraudulent, created by the U.S. Federal Congress through the passage of the Organic Act of 1900. This measure was used by the United States to carry out the so-called annexation of Hawaii, instigated by the defective 1898 Newlands Resolution. This annexation was unlawful from its inscription before the United States entered into the contracts with known treasonous posing as the Republic of Hawaii, who did not possess exclusive jurisdictional interest over the Hawaiian nation. The vast minority, over 90% of the population, was openly opposed to annexation and believed in the rules of law instead of warfare. To receive justice, the voices of protest and the cries of justice were ignored and trampled by the racist, discriminatory prejudice prevalent among the American leaderships and general society. The Hawaiian nationals were all allowed no platforms for their voices then or since, being unable to vote and or participate in the government unless they surrendered the Hawaiian national and swear alliance to the de facto Republic of Hawaii, or the Territory of Hawaii, or the State of Hawaii, and the intimidating, intrusive United States. Let me be more specific about the United States created Organic Act. In that act, under definition, the United States openly malign and insult the Hawaiian nationals of Hawaiian blood and mixed blood heritage with the territory of Hawaii, subjugate and occupy the de jure Hawaiian kingdom in the Organic Act. Definition, we find the following. Hawaiian and Native Hawaiians mean any descendant of the race inhabiting the Hawaiian Islands prior to 1778. This new definition effectively introduced ethnically the races as a means of separating Hawaiians from their nationality, defining Hawaiians by their ethnic change in their status from nationals slash private citizens of the Hawaiian Kingdom, a heretofore legitimate and recognized the independent country, to the members of an isolated ethnic indigenous group. And what about those Hawaiians who were not native as defined above? For example, how many Hawaiian nationals were of Chinese, Japanese, English, German, French, Spanish, Portuguese ethnicity? They too, as Hawaiian nationals, lost their country. All had been citizens of the Hawaiian Kingdom, protected by international treaties, with their national worldwide by this very repugnant organic act. Aboriginals Hawaiians of the blood, the Koko, and those of all other ethnicity have been relegated to non-Hawaiian national citizen status in their own recognized sovereign nation. The fact, technically, all the lands of Hawaii are still in the property of the national entity, the Hawaiian national government, and its people. That has not lawfully changed by redefining and recasting the Hawaiian nationals, the citizens of a sovereign nation, as Aboriginals, the native Hawaiian inhabitants of Hawaii, the land according to accept Euro-American colonial standards would be up for grabs by conquest. That would put the treasonous entities, the so-called Committee on Safety, later transformed into the Republic of Hawaii, in position to exercise, with the U.S. support, a pretendinous claims of conquest. In fact, of the treasonous was internal with the national exclusive jurisdiction of the Hawaiian Kingdom. It was the United States that committed an act of war, as was admitted by the President Grover Cleveland as an unattended, regrettable violation that requires immediately remedy and restoration. There was no declaration of war between Hawaii and the United States. So conquest by warfare cannot be used as a pretext for today's U.S. occupation of Hawaii. It is plain and simple theft. The United States concurrent occupation of Hawaii is based on the series of false and unlawful claims by the illegal de facto governments from 1893 to the present time. The Hawaiian Kingdom was canceled, not overthrown or conquered, since there has never been a lawful transition of governmency following the initial takeover according to international standards, etc. The laws of nations, the world courts, United Nations, etc. The sovereignty of the nation of Hawaii has never been extinguished. Therefore, the nation of the Hawaiian Islands and its governing entity, the Hawaiian Kingdom, still exists in continuity, as do the rights and privileges and the duties of the Hawaiian national citizens. The Organic Act of 1900 is insulting, demeaning, oppressive to all Hawaiians, especially those who understand its purpose. Through this instrument, the United States support a lawless group of treasonous functioning under abuse of police power within a blatant prejudice and disregard of law. They demote Hawaii nationals or / private citizens of a recognized progressive nation to the status of native Hawaiians, insinuating an aboriginal tribal entity instead of an organized progressive nation. I can only assume this was done as a result of the American bias that Hawaiians now downgrade the Organic Act to only blood quantum native Hawaiians could not have the capability to own their land, nor have the intelligence significant to operate their own nation. Of course, this was absolutely not true, except for a 5-month period. In 1843, the Hawaiians had always been self-governing for over 1,000 years. And in 1840, had established a progressive constitutional form of government. The Hawaiian nationals of the foreign Hawaiian nation were extremely well informed, articulate, and fully proficient in self-governance. The description of the Hawaiians, the descriptions by Americans of Hawaiians as Aborigines was done to play an ethnocentric prejudices of an ignorant American public / non-white savages, heathens, uncivilized. Under the Organic Act, the newly created U.S. implemented court system looked down upon the native Hawaiians, treating them as non-persons, similar to the blacks or American Indians. Lacking European knowledge or education, and occupying but having no legal rights to their lands, shame on the American politicians and government. The 20th century, the 1900s, draw with the United States fully embarked on a new path of imperialism with its newly created fraudulent governing entity replacing the fraudulent Republic of Hawaii. This time, the government entity was titled Territory of Hawaii. But it was still the result of a series of lies and deception to defrauding both the American and the Hawaiian people. So, the territory laws and the U.S. courts created by the Organic Act. The United States courts in the Hawaiian Kingdom soil and functioning under the Act are de facto. They cannot be anything else. The United States even created the territory oath See Exhibit M. For its federal judges under the Organic Act who is under the Act are to this date appointed by the President of the United States. The Organic Act, the Territorial Act, begins with deception and fraud. In Section 1, definition, the United States herein recognize its own de facto creation. The overthrow of a lawful Hawaiian government was effected by the Committee of Safety, which a year and a half later changed itself into the Republic of Hawaii. These are the same conspirators, only the names of the group have changed. So, definition, that the laws of Hawaii used in this act without qualifying words shall mean the Constitution and laws of the Republic of Hawaii in force the 12th day of August, 1898, at the time of the transfer of sovereignty of the Hawaiian Islands to the United States of America. The use of the wording transfer of the sovereignty is a false and misleading statement that refers to a sovereignty that did not exist under the Republic of Hawaii, and transfer a power/authority, land and possession that the Republic of Hawaii did not lawfully possess and therefore did not, because they could not, lawfully transfer. Section 2. The state that the archipelago was acquired by the United States by an act of Congress, the Newlands Resolution, which is also false. The territory of Hawaii that the island acquired the United States of America under the Act of Congress entitled Joint Resolution to provide annexing the Hawaiian Islands to the United States, approved July 7, 1898, shall be known as the Territory of Hawaii. Let's look back into the Newland Resolution. And it says here, acquisition. I quote paragraph 7 of that resolution. It goes, Newland Resolution, paragraph 7, the public debt of the Republic of Hawaii lawful existence at the date of passage of this resolution includes the amount due to the depositors in the Hawaiian Postal Saving Bank is hereby assumed by the government of the United States, and liability of the United States in regards shall not exceed $4 million. So long, whoever, as the existing government and the present commercial relations of the Hawaiian Islands are continued as herein before, provided said government shall continue to pay the interest on this said debt. So, the above is the only reference to any monetary acquisition or supposed acquisition within the Newland resolutions. If you read the last sentence, you will find this is a conditional loan subject to the necessity that the said government shall continue to pay the interest on the said debt. Interest is only paid on a loan. There was the acquisition. Or where was the acquisition? I cannot find one. Let's be truthful here. You cannot lawfully possess stolen goods, the Hawaiian kingdom, from a theft if in fact you know that since you are inquiring is stolen. Secondly, there was no purchase involved, only a loan. In fact, the whole of the claim of the United States interest in the Hawaiian Islands as its possession is a fraud, deceptively fraud, false, and misleading, not just morally and diplomatically, but without any lawful foundation under any law. Okay, so the U.S. actions regarding the Hawaiian Islands are affront and righteousness, and the very Constitution of the United States of America that they, the politician, attorney, judges of that era, as well as the present era, say they honor the nation called America, whose federal congressional presently represents itself as being under God, operates with deviously deceptions and lies. Well, with that, I'm going to close off because I went over my time. So I thank you so very much for your time for listening. I had about maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 pages left, 4.5 pages to go, but I went over my time. So anyway, next time I'm gonna cover up the 4 pages. The next time when we go for the truth, I'm gonna read off the other 4 pages. So I'd like to thank you very much for you guys' time, and thank you for listening. Thank you very much.